A toy is an item that is used in play. Playing with toys can be an enjoyable means of training young children for life in society. Different materials like wood, clay, paper, and plastic are used to make toys. Many items are designed to serve as toys, but goods produced for other purposes can also be used. For instance, a small child may fold an ordinary piece of paper into an airplane shape and fly it. Newer forms of toys include interactive digital entertainment. Some toys are produced primarily as collector's items and are intended for display only. The origin of toys is prehistoric. Dolls representing infants, animals, and soldiers, as well as representations of tools used by adults, are readily found at archaeological sites. The origin of the word toy is unknown, but it is believed that it was first used in the 14th century. Toys are mainly made for children. The oldest known doll toy is thought to be 4,000 years old. Playing with toys is considered to be important when it comes to growing up and learning about the world around us. Younger children use toys to discover their identity, help their bodies grow strong, learn cause and effect, explore relationships, and practice skills they will need as adults. Adults on occasion use toys to form and strengthen social bonds, teach, help in therapy, and to remember and reinforce lessons from their youth. Most children have been said to play with whatever they can find, such as sticks and rocks. Toys and games have been unearthed from the sites of ancient civilizations. They have been written about in some of the oldest literature. Toys excavated from the Indus Valley Civilization, 3010 to 1500 BCE, include small carts, whistles shaped like birds, and toy monkeys which could slide down a string. The earliest toys are made from materials found in nature, such as rocks, sticks, and clay. Thousands of years ago, Egyptian children played with dolls that had wigs and movable limbs, which were made from stone, pottery, and wood. In ancient Greece and ancient Rome, children played with dolls made of wax or terracotta, sticks, bows and arrows, and yo-yos. When Greek children, especially girls, came of age, it was customary for them to sacrifice the toys of their childhood to the gods. On the eve of their wedding, young girls around 14 would offer their dolls in a temple as a rite of passage into adulthood. The oldest known mechanical puzzle also comes from Greece and appeared in the 3rd century BCE. The game consisted of a square divided into 14 parts, and the aim was to create different shapes from these pieces. In Iran, puzzle locks were made as early as the 17th century AD. Now, let's take a look at some of the most successful and beloved toys of all time, starting with the doll that has captured the imagination and hearts of children around the world for decades. Barbie is a fashion doll manufactured by the American toy company Mattel, Incorporated, and launched in March 1959. American businesswoman Ruth Handler is credited with the creation of the doll, using a German doll called Bild Lilly as her inspiration. Barbie is the figurehead of a brand of Mattel dolls and accessories, including other family members and collectible dolls. Barbie has been an important part of the toy fashion doll market for over 50 years and has been the subject of numerous controversies and lawsuits, often involving parodies of the doll and her lifestyle. Mattel has sold over 1 billion Barbie dolls, making it the company's largest and most profitable line. However, sales have declined sharply since 2014. The doll transformed the toy business in affluent communities worldwide by becoming a vehicle for the sale of related merchandise, accessories, clothes, friends of Barbie, etc. She had a significant impact on social values by conveying characteristics of female independence, and with her multitude of accessories, an idealized upscale lifestyle that can be shared with affluent friends. Starting in 1987, Barbie has expanded into a media franchise, including animated films, television specials, video games, and music. Ruth Handler watched her daughter Barbara play with paper dolls and noticed that she often enjoyed giving them adult roles. At the time, most children's toy dolls were representations of infants. Realizing that there could be a gap in the market, Handler suggested the idea of an adult-bodied doll to her husband, Elliot, a co-founder of the Mattel Toy Company. He was unenthusiastic about the idea, as were Mattel's directors. During a trip to Europe in 1956 with her children, Barbara and Kenneth, Ruth Handler came across a German toy doll called Build Lily. The adult figure doll was exactly what Handler had in mind, so she purchased 3 of them. She gave one to her daughter and took the others back to Mattel. The Lily doll was based on a popular character appearing in a comic strip drawn by Reinhard Buethen for the newspaper Bild. Lily was a blonde bombshell, a working girl who knew what she wanted and was not above using men to get it. The Lily doll was first sold in Germany in 1955, and although it was initially sold to adults, it became popular with children who enjoyed dressing her up in outfits that were available separately. Upon her return to the United States, Handler redesigned the doll with help from engineer Jack Ryan, and the doll was given a new name, Barbie, after Handler's daughter Barbara. The doll made its debut at the American International Toy Fair in New York on March 9, 1959. This date is also used as Barbie's official birthday. The first Barbie doll wore a black and white zebra-striped swimsuit and signature top-knot ponytail, and was available as either a blonde or brunette. The doll was marketed as a teenage fashion model, with her clothes created by Mattel fashion designer Charlotte Johnson. The first Barbie dolls were manufactured in Japan, with their clothes hand-stitched by Japanese home workers. Around 350,000 Barbie dolls were sold during the first year of production. Louis Marks and Company sued Mattel in March 1961. After licensing Lily, they claimed that Mattel had infringed on Greiner and Hauser's patent for Build Lily's hip joint, and also claimed that Barbie was a direct takeoff and copy of Build Lily. The company additionally claimed that Mattel falsely and misleadingly represented itself as having originated the design. Mattel counterclaimed, and the case was settled out of court in 1963. In 1964, Mattel bought Greiner and Hauser's copyright and patent rights for the Build Lily doll for $21,600. Ruth Handler believed that it was important for Barbie to have an adult appearance, and early market research showed that some parents were unhappy about the doll's chest, which had distinct breasts. Barbie's appearance had been changed many times, most notably in 1971, when the doll's eyes were adjusted to look forwards rather than having the demure sideways glance of the original model. Barbie was one of the first toys to have a marketing strategy based extensively on television advertising, which has been copied widely by other toys. It is estimated that over 1 billion Barbie dolls have been sold worldwide in over 150 countries, with Mattel claiming that 3 Barbie dolls are sold every second. The standard range of Barbie dolls and related accessories are manufactured to approximately 1/6 scale, which is also known as play scale. The standard dolls are approximately 11.5 inches tall. Barbie products include not only the range of dolls with their clothes and accessories, but also a large range of Barbie-branded goods, such as books, apparel, cosmetics, and video games. Barbie has had a media franchise starting in 1987, when she began appearing in a series of animated films. Barbie's direct-to-DVD animated films have sold over 110 million units worldwide as of 2013. In addition, the brand has had 2 television specials, Barbie and the Rockers, Out of This World, and Barbie and the Sensations, Rockin' Back to Earth, as well as a hit song, Barbie Girl by Aqua in 1997. She is also a supporting character in the Pixar films Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. From the start, some have complained that the blonde plastic doll conveyed an unrealistic body image to girls. Criticisms of Barbie are often centered around concerns that children consider Barbie a role model and will attempt to emulate her. One of the most common criticisms of Barbie is that she promotes an unrealistic idea of body image for a young woman, leading to a risk that girls who attempt to emulate her will become anorexic. A standard Barbie doll is 11.5 inches tall, giving a height of 5 feet 9 inches at a 1/6 scale. Barbie's vital statistics have been estimated at 36 inches chest, 18 inches waist, and 33 inches hips. According to research by the University Central Hospital in Helsinki, Finland, she would lack the 17 to 22% body fat required for a woman to menstruate. In 1963, the outfit Barbie Babysits came out with a book entitled How to Lose Weight, which advertised, "Don't eat." The same book was included in another ensemble called Slumber Party in 1965, along with a pink bathroom scale permanently set at 110 pounds, which would be around 35 pounds underweight for a woman 5 feet 9 inches tall. Mattel said that the waist of the Barbie doll was made small because the waistbands of her clothes, along with their seams, snaps, and zippers, added bulk to her figure. In 1997, Barbie's body mold was redesigned and given a wider waist, with Mattel saying that this would make the doll better suited to contemporary fashion design. In 2016, Mattel introduced a range of new body types: tall, petite, and curvy. Curvy Barbie received a great deal of media attention and even made the cover of Time magazine with the headline, "Now can we stop talking about my body?" Despite the curvy doll's body shape being equivalent to a US size 4 in clothing, many children regard her as fat. Mattel estimates that there are well over 100,000 avid Barbie collectors. 90% are women, at an average age of 40, purchasing more than 20 Barbie dolls each year. 45% of them spend upwards of $1,000 a year. Vintage Barbie dolls from the early years are the most valuable at auction. And while the original Barbie was sold for $3 in 1959, a mint-boxed Barbie from 1959 sold for $3,552.50 on eBay in October 2004. On September 26, 2006, a Barbie doll set a world record at auction of 9,000 sterling, $17,000 US, at Christie's in London. The doll was a Barbie in midnight red from 1965 and was part of a private collection of 4,000 Barbie dolls being sold by two Dutch women, Ayeja Rebel and her daughter, Marina. In recent years, Mattel has sold a wide range of Barbie dolls aimed specifically at collectors, including porcelain versions, vintage reproductions, and depictions of Barbie as a range of characters from film and television series, such as The Munsters and Star Trek. There are also collector's edition dolls depicting Barbie dolls with a range of different ethnic identities. In 2004, Mattel introduced the color tier system for its collector's edition Barbie dolls, including pink, silver, gold, and platinum, depending on how many of the dolls are produced. In March 2018, in time for International Women's Day, Mattel unveiled the Barbie Celebrates Role Models campaign with a line of 17 dolls, informally known as Sheroes, from diverse backgrounds to showcase examples of extraordinary women. Mattel developed this collection in response to mothers concerned about their daughters having positive female role models. Dolls in this collection include Frida Kahlo, Patty Jenkins, Chloe Kim, Nicola Adams, Ibtihaj Muhammad, Bindi Irwin, Amelia Earhart, Misty Copeland, Ellen DeRose, Katherine Johnson, Sarah Gama, Martina Wojciechowska, Gabby Douglas, Guan Xiaotong, Ava DuVernay, Yuan Tan, and Leila Pideesh. Hot Wheels is a brand of die-cast toy cars introduced by American toy maker Mattel in 1968. It was the primary competitor of Matchbox until 1997, when Mattel bought Tyco Toys, then owner of Matchbox. Many automobile manufacturers have since licensed Hot Wheels to make scale models of their cars, allowing the use of original design blueprints and detailing. Although Hot Wheels were originally intended for children and young adults, they have become popular with adult collectors, for whom limited edition models are now made available. For its 40th anniversary in 2008, Hot Wheels celebrated the making of its 4 billionth car with the production of a diamond-studded model worth $140,000. It had 2,700 diamond chips, a total of almost 23 carats, and was cast in white gold, with rubies serving as taillights. Through the years, Hot Wheels cars have been collected mostly by children, but since the late 1990s, there has been an increase in the number of adult collectors. Mattel estimates that 41 million children grew up playing with the toys. The average collector has over 1,550 cars, and children between the ages of 5 and 15 have an average of 41 cars. Most believe the collecting craze started with the treasure hunts in 1995. Mike Strauss has been called the father of Hot Wheels collecting. He has organized 2 collectors' events each year, in some form, since 1986. The first event was the annual Hot Wheels Collectors Convention, normally held each year in the fall. The convention occurred in various locations around the country until 2001, when the first annual Hot Wheels Collectors Nationals was put together. Since then, the conventions are held each year in Southern California. The Hot Wheels Collectors Nationals rotate among cities outside of California during the spring. Strauss has also published the quarterly Hot Wheels newsletter since 1986 and was one of the first to unite collectors all over the world. He also writes the Tomart's Price Guide to Hot Wheels, a book listing history, car descriptions, and values, which is used by almost every collector to learn more about the hobby and their collection. Strauss sold his collection in 2011 and retired from the Hot Wheels newsletter. There are hundreds, perhaps even thousands, of web pages dedicated to Hot Wheels collecting. Collectors are seeking everything related to Hot Wheels, from only new castings to only red lines and everything in between. For the most part, it is a relatively inexpensive hobby when compared with coin collecting, stamp collecting, or Barbie collecting, with mainline cars costing around 97 cents to $1.08 at retail. The price has not changed much in almost 40 years, although in real terms, the models have dropped significantly in price. A Hot Wheels car cost 98 cents in 1968 and costs 98 cents today, in spite of inflation. After the cars are no longer available at retail, the cost can vary significantly. A common car may sell for less than retail, while some of the more difficult cars can sell for many hundred or even thousands of dollars. The highest price paid for a Hot Wheels car was close to $70,000 in 2000 for a pre-production version of a Volkswagen rear loader Beach Bomb. The asking price was $72,000. The Beach Bomb is a VW microbus with a pair of surfboards poking out the rear window. This design failed initial testing, proving to be top-heavy and not functional with the power booster track accessory. A widened version with the surfboards mounted in side slots was designed and released for the 1969 model year, making the rear loader version a rarity. and very sought-after piece. As of 2018, there are about 50 rear loaders known to exist. A hula hoop is a toy hoop that is twirled around the waist, limbs, or neck. The modern hula hoop was invented in 1958 by Arthur K. Spud Mellon and Richard Nair. But children and adults around the world have played with hoops throughout history. Hula hoops for children generally measure approximately 70 centimeters, or 28 inches, in diameter, while those for adults measure around 1 meter, or 40 inches. Traditional materials for hoops include willow, rattan, a flexible and strong vine, grapevines, and stiff grasses. Today, they are usually made of plastic tubing. Native American hoop dance is a form of storytelling dance incorporating hoops as props. These props are used to create both static and dynamic shapes, which represent various animals, symbols, and storytelling elements. The dance is generally performed by a solo dancer with multiple hoops. Before it was known and recognized as the common colorful plastic toy, sometimes filled with water or sand, the traditional hula hoop was made of dried willow, rattan, grapevines, or stiff grasses. Though they have been in existence for thousands of years, it is often incorrectly believed that they were invented in the 1950s. Author Charles Panaty records a craze with the usage of wooden and metal hoops in 14th century England. He reports that doctors treated patients suffering from pain, dislocated backs, and even heart failure due to hooping. Panaty also says that the name hula came from the Hawaiian dance in the 18th century, due to the similar hip movements. Lego is a line of plastic construction toys that are manufactured by the Lego Group, a privately held company based in Billund, Denmark. The company's flagship product, Lego, consists of colorful interlocking plastic bricks, accompanying an array of gears, figurines called minifigures, and various other parts. Lego pieces can be assembled and connected in many ways to construct objects, including vehicles, buildings, and working robots. Anything constructed can be taken apart again, and the pieces reused to make new things. The Lego Group began manufacturing the interlocking toy bricks in 1949. Movies, games, competitions, and 6 Legoland amusement parks have been developed under the brand. As of July 2015, 600 billion Lego parts had been produced. In February 2015, Lego replaced Ferrari as Brand Finance's world's most powerful brand. The Lego Group began in the workshop of Ole Kirk Christensen, a carpenter from Billund, Denmark, who began making wooden toys in 1932. In 1934, his company came to be called Lego, derived from the Danish phrase leg godt, which means play well. In 1947, Lego expanded to begin producing plastic toys. In 1949, Lego began producing, among other new products, an early version of the now familiar interlocking bricks, calling them automatic binding bricks. These bricks were based on the Kittycraft self-locking bricks, which had been patented in the United Kingdom in 1939 and released in 1947. Lego had received a sample of the Kittycraft bricks from the supplier of an injection molding machine that it purchased. The bricks, originally manufactured from cellulose acetate, were a development of the traditional stackable wooden blocks of the time. The Lego Group's motto is Det bedste ikke for godt, which means roughly, only the best is the best. More literally, the best is never too good. This motto, which is still used today, was created by Christensen to encourage his employees never to skimp on quality, a value he believed in strongly. By 1951, plastic toys accounted for half of the Lego company's output, even though the Danish trade magazine Legetøjes Tidende, Toy Times, visiting the Lego factory in Billund in the early 1950s, felt that plastic would never be able to replace traditional wooden toys. Although a common sentiment, Lego toys seem to have become a significant exception to the dislike of plastic in children's toys, due in part to the high standards set by Ole Kirk. By 1954, Christensen's son, Gottfried, had become the junior managing director of the Lego Group. It was his conversation with an overseas buyer that led to the idea of a toy system. Gottfried saw the immense potential in Lego bricks to become a system for creative play. But the bricks still had some problems from a technical standpoint. Their locking ability was limited, and they were not versatile. In 1958, the modern brick design was developed. It took 5 years to find the right material for it. ABS, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene polymer. The modern Lego brick design was patented on 28 January 1958. The Lego Group's Duplo product line was introduced in 1969 and is a range of simple blocks whose lengths measure twice the width, height, and depth of standard Lego blocks and are aimed towards younger children. In 1978, Lego produced the first minifigures, which have since become a staple in most sets. In May 2011, Space Shuttle Endeavour mission STS-134 brought 13 Lego kits to the International Space Station, where astronauts built models to see how they would react in microgravity as a part of the Lego Bricks in Space program. In May 2013, the largest model ever created was displayed in New York City and was made of over 5 million bricks. A 1-to-1 scale model of an X-Wing fighter. Other records include a 112-foot tower and a 2.5-mile railway. In February 2015, Lego replaced Ferrari as the world's most powerful brand. Mr. Potato Head is an American toy consisting of a plastic model of a potato, which can be decorated with a variety of plastic parts that can attach to the main body. These parts usually include ears, eyes, shoes, a hat, a nose, and a mouth. The toy was invented and developed by George Lerner in 1949 and first manufactured and distributed by Hasbro in 1952. Mr. Potato Head was the first toy advertised on television and has remained in production since its debut. The toy was originally produced as separate plastic parts with pushpins that could be stuck into a real potato or other vegetable. However, due to complaints regarding rotting vegetables and new government safety regulations, Hasbro began including a plastic potato body within the toy set in 1964. Over the years, the original toy was joined by Mrs. Potato Head and supplemented with accessories such as a car and a boat trailer. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head may be best known for their appearances in the Toy Story franchise. Additionally, in 1998, the Mr. Potato Head show aired, but was short-lived, with only one season being produced. As one of the prominent marks of Hasbro, a Mr. Potato Head balloon has also joined others in the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Today, Mr. Potato Head can still be seen adorning hats, shirts, and ties. Toy Story Midway Mania in Disney California Adventure at the Disneyland Resort also features a large talking Mr. Potato Head. Rubik's Cube is a 3D combination puzzle invented in 1974 by Hungarian sculptor and professor of architecture Ernő Rubik. Originally called the Magic Cube, the puzzle was licensed by Rubik to be sold by Ideal Toy Corporation in 1980 via businessman Tibor Lazy and Seven Towns founder Tom Kremer, and won the German Game of the Year Special Award for Best Puzzle that year. As of January 2009, 350 million cubes had been sold worldwide, making it the world's top-selling puzzle game. It is widely considered to be the world's best-selling toy. On the original classic Rubik's Cube, each of the 6 faces was covered by 9 stickers, each of one of 6 solid colors: white, red, blue, orange, green, and yellow. The current version of the cube has been updated to colored plastic panels instead, which prevents peeling and fading. In currently sold models, white is opposite yellow, blue is opposite green, and orange is opposite red, and the red, white, and blue are arranged in that order in a clockwise arrangement. On early cubes, the position of the colors varied from cube to cube. An internal pivot mechanism enables each face to turn independently, thus mixing up the colors. For the puzzle to be solved, each face must be returned to have only one color. Similar puzzles have now been produced with various numbers of sides, dimensions, and stickers, not all of them by Rubik. Although the Rubik's Cube reached its height of mainstream popularity in the 1980s, it is still widely known and used. Many speed cubers continue to practice it, and similar puzzles. They also compete for the fastest times in various categories. Since 2003, the World Cube Association, the Rubik's Cube's international governing body, has organized competitions worldwide and recognizes world records. Transformers is a media franchise produced by American toy company Hasbro and Japanese toy company Takara Tomy. Initially a line of transforming mecha toys rebranded from Takara's Diaclone and Microman toy lines, the franchise began in 1984 with the Transformers toy line and centers on extraterrestrial factions of sentient, self-configuring, modular, robotic life forms, often the Autobots and the Decepticons, in an endless civil war. In its history, the Transformers franchise has expanded to encompass comic books, animation, video games, and films. The term Generation 1 covers both the animated television series The Transformers and the comic book series of the same name, which are further divided into Japanese and British spin-offs, respectively. Sequels followed, such as the Generation 2 comic book and Beast Wars TV series, which became its own miniverse. Generation 1 characters underwent 2 reboots, with Dreamwave in 2001 and IDW Publishing in 2005, with a third starting in 2019. There have been other incarnations of the story based on different toy lines during and after the 20th century. The first was the Robots in Disguise series, followed by 3 shows, Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, that constitute a single universe called the Unicron Trilogy. A live-action film series started in 2007, again distinct from previous incarnations, while the Transformers animated series merged concepts from the G1 continuity, the 2007 live-action film, and the Unicron Trilogy. For most of the 2010s, in an attempt to mitigate the wave of reboots, the aligned continuity was established. In 2018, Transformers Cyberverse debuted, once again distinct from the previous incarnations. Although initially a separate and competing franchise started in 1983, Tonka's GoBots became the intellectual property of Hasbro after their buyout of Tonka in 1991. Subsequently, the universe depicted in the animated series Challenge of the GoBots and follow-up film GoBots, Battle of the Rock Lords, was retroactively established as an alternate universe within the Transformers robot superhero franchise. A yo-yo is a toy consisting of an axle connected to two discs and a string looped around the axle. It has some similarities to a slender spool. A yo-yo is played by holding the free end of the string, known as the handle, by inserting one finger, usually the middle or index finger, into a slip knot, allowing gravity, or the force of a throw and gravity, to spin the yo-yo and unwind the string, similar to how a pull string works. The player then allows the yo-yo to wind itself back to the player's hand, exploiting its spin and the associated rotational energy. This is often called yo-yoing. In the simplest play, the string is intended to be wound on the spool by hand. The yo-yo is thrown downwards, hits the end of the string, then winds up the string towards the hand, and finally, the yo-yo is grabbed, ready to be thrown again. One of the most basic tricks is called the sleeper, where the yo-yo spins at the end of the string for a noticeable amount of time before returning to the hand. In 1928, Pedro Flores, a Filipino immigrant to the United States, opened the yo-yo manufacturing company in Santa Barbara, California. The business started with a dozen handmade toys. By November 1929, Flores was operating 2 additional factories in Los Angeles and Hollywood, which altogether employed 600 workers and produced 300,000 units daily. The principal distinction between the Filipino design, popularized by Flores, and more primitive yo-yos is in the way the yo-yo is strung. In older, and some remaining inexpensive, yo-yo designs, the string is tied to the axle using a knot. With this technique, the yo-yo just goes back and forth. It returns easily, but it is impossible to make it sleep. In Flores' design, one continuous piece of string, double the desired length, is twisted around something to produce a loop at one end, which is fitted around the axle. Also termed a looped slipstring, this seemingly minor modification allows for a far greater variety and sophistication of motion, thanks to increased stability and suspension of movement during free spin. Shortly thereafter, in 1929, an entrepreneur named Donald F. Duncan recognized the potential of this new fad and purchased the Flores Yo-Yo Corporation and all its assets, including the Flores name, which was transferred to the new company in 1932. The name yo-yo was registered in 1932 as a trademark by Sam Dubiner in Vancouver, Canada, and Harvey Lowe won the first World Yo-Yo Contest in London, England. In 1932, Swedish Kalmartrissen yo-yos started to be manufactured as well. In 1933, yo-yos were banned in Syria because many locals superstitiously blamed the use of them for a severe drought. In 1946, the Duncan Toys Company opened a yo-yo factory in Luck, Wisconsin. The Duncan yo-yo was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame at The Strong in Rochester, New York in 1999. Without a doubt, toys play a major role in the development and imagination of all of us. Some toys carve a special place in our hearts and minds, and have even changed the course of human history.